I was 20 years old when I bought my first house. I was working at a major retail chain. I was in sales. I was making about just under $13 an hour. And so I wasn't making the most money in the world or anything. One of the big catalysts for buying this house is that Lucy's dad, Mr. Ted, I used to work for him, a Colombian, and he's very straightforward. One day, we're about to get into the truck. We worked in construction together. That's where I began to learn the basics of real estate from. And he says, Darren, and Mr. Ted, if you don't know him, he is very direct. The most direct person I've ever met in my entire life. Straight like a bow and arrow, okay? That's the way he shoots it. Lucy and I, man, we were ready to get married. He says, Darren, I know you want to get married basically just so that you can have sex. So you know, it's on the list, you know, we've thought about it. Definitely in the top 3. We have not had sex. We've remained virgins till we're married. And so, you know, like, I mean, give me some props, something, right? Stop trying to hold me back. Because he was like, man, you know, in the Bible days, you know, they used to work for the Father for so many years, 7 years. I said, dude, in the Bible days, they was living till they was 700. I'm like, I got 50 more years if I'm lucky. I don't think I've had a greater awkward moment in my life than that moment there. But anyway, I told him, yes, that is part of the deal. However, I'm in love with your daughter. He says, in order, you know, if you're going to marry Lucy, because things are getting serious, he's like, listen, you know, you're going to need to own a home. You know, I take good care of my daughter. I've invested into her life all these years. You know, I've provided for her, and I want to make sure that she has a comfortable life. So I'm like, okay, what's the deal? He's like, well, you know, you need to buy a house. So I'm like, God, dog, man. Like, I'm thinking he's going to say, you know, maybe a couple grand save, you know, maybe a car, whatever. No, straight up, you need to own a home. So that was my goal. I began to work towards saving money to get a house. I was working for him. Then after that, I went to work at the major retail chain. And so I'm saving my money and I was able to acquire that home. Ended up buying it from a former school teacher. Before my 21st birthday, I had purchased that house and then I was renting it while I lived with my parents until Lucy and I got married. That was a really good thing. And so I'm 32 now, so that was, 12 years ago. I bought my first home, and that is how we got started in the real estate business, was with that first house I purchased in order to make Mr. Ted kind of happy there.